All right, just wanted to get everyone together. Had our final scrimmage in the stadium yesterday, which kind of wraps up, our fall camp prep against each other before we turn to opponent preparation. I thought it's been an incredibly productive camp. I think the coaches did a very good job providing the players with the information. Players did a good job transitioning that to the walkthroughs and onto the field. And every day I marvel at how competitive our practices are. 21 years doing this. Every time we step on the field and it's offense versus defense or a special teams drill, our kids have a unique ability and desire to compete. And I thought our productivity and our execution increased on a daily basis and challenged them to walk off of the field better than we stepped on it. And I think we saw that. And certainly excited for where we are and where we're going. With that being said, we talked about naming a starting quarterback. Had the opportunity to meet with both guys earlier this afternoon and just inform the team. And it was a great competition. Both guys are similarly sized, provide equal threats in the run game. And we said the decision making was going to come down to who can create explosive plays, who can minimize turnovers, and who can throw the ball with the best accuracy on a consistent manner. Tommy jumped out of the gate strong at the beginning of camp, closing into the first scrimmage. KT kind of closed the gap and had a real nice first scrimmage. And, from that point forward, Tommy created separation, continued to do that towards the tail end of camp. So we told both guys and we informed the team that Tommy Stevens has earned the right to be the starting quarterback for us this year, and certainly are excited about what KT did and how he performed, and is going to be an incredibly valuable asset for us. And we're going to need him to win a game for us this year. And also real fired up about our two young guys. I think they had a really nice camp, particularly Garrett Trader, who did some really good things. So excited about the quarterback position. Yeah. Any questions?
And we'll have Keaton take the news, and is there a plan for him? And he still has a red shirt year available, that sort of thing. Would you try to maximize that if possible?
Yeah, he like any competitor, particularly one who's playing in this conference at that position. I won't say he took it well, because that's not really what I want to infer, but certainly understood what the process was, and certainly understood what the decision-making criteria was, and wants to be the starter like anybody else on the team, but also understand that we had a job to do, we had a decision to make, and what we based it off of, and he respected that. And I told him, just like any other number two on the team, he's one play away from being the one, and can't get into a backup mentality, and he's going to come out on Tuesday, or Friday when we start ULL prep, and he's going to get after it.
What stood out to you yesterday?
The scrimmage?
Yeah.
We put our ones and twos kind of against the guys who don't end up maybe being on the scout team for the year, with a couple exceptions. And what we wanted to see was, we wanted to be sharp, we wanted to be crisp, we wanted to be penalty free. See our offense be able to move up and down the ball and operate, and see the defense get some 3 and outs, and have the special teams interspersed in there. And more than anything, it was a kind of dry run for the coaching staff as well. So we started from the meetings ending, getting on the buses, dropping them off at the dog walk. We did the dog walk, got into the locker room, went through our whole pregame routine, which with new players and new coaches, you'd be surprised at people knowing where to go and not knowing where to go. And then we got into, like I said, a half of football, 50-minute run quarters, and then got into some special team situations. But I thought it was a good teaching experience, a good learning experience, and you feel good where all 3 phases are coming out of it.
You've talked at length about how much Tommy would walk in with the knowledge of the play.
Yeah.
Like, how much did that help him just throughout the competition?
Yeah, I think, when you're going and being a quarterback in essentially year 4, if you want to call it that, you could hit the ground running and not have to go in somewhere and learn something completely new. I think it was very, it made the transition a lot quicker.
How close were the completion numbers, and is it a number that you can actually live with or satisfied with?
Yeah, I'd prefer not to get into what they were specifically. I mean, I know what they are right now off the top of my head, but it was significant enough for us to make a decision.
It's not just Tommy, but obviously Zuber's a grad transfer. How is your team as a whole welcome those guys in? Obviously there can be sometimes some standoffish and tension there, but those are two guys competing for starting jobs. How was that kind of handled this summer and then later in camp?
Yeah, I think really how the position groups and the offense and the team has welcomed those guys in is really a microcosm of where I feel we are as a team relative to our culture. That I think the two biggest things that I've seen where we've improved is our leadership and our chemistry. So there hasn't been a kind of deal where, hey, this is a new guy who's trying to take my job. You know, you see the receivers coaching up the guys who are new, whether it be a grad transfer or freshman. And I think that the bond amongst the quarterbacks is very, very strong too. You know, quite frankly, in a room where, you know, that's not always the case. So I think, you know, that's been a very positive aspect of this camp is you know, how unified we've been across the ball.
Is the depth chart pretty much finalized now, or you still have some tweaking to do between now and next weekend?
Yeah, we got tomorrow, we got Saturday, and then we got all next week. So we went over the initial depth chart for this game this morning at staff meeting. Kind of went over the preliminary travel roster. You know, we'll get to Sunday, that'll be a helmets only practice, and then we'll start teeing it up Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with you know, practice and pads, and you know, kind of have an idea what the two deep's going to be. But you know, certainly there's time between now and then for that thing to, you know, get erased, not erased, but you know, to make the necessary changes.
How has Zuber adjusted at his position group? Zuber up and down the.
He had a real nice day yesterday. He caught some nice passes yesterday, and I think his kind of the opposite of what Ben was saying with Tommy. He's a guy that's coming in and having to learn the offense completely new. I think Michael's done a real nice job, you know, with he and the other guys. And you know, what I like about Isaiah is his versatility, that he's not just a guy who can play the slot, but you know, can you know, kind of jump out and play both outside receiver positions. And the same with Javante as well. So I think both those guys have done a real nice job as first-year players.
You're just 9 days away from the season opener. Do you anticipate a ruling on Allen Love from NCAA before the first game, or?
I think it will come before the first game. Yeah.
How comfortable are you where your cornerbacks are right now?
Corners?
Yes.
Real good. You know, Cam, I think, is, you know, one of the best in the SEC and one of the best in the country, and has played like it, and seen, you know, steady improvements in his, I won't say confidence, but kind of taking his game to the next level. And I think that comes with his work with, you know, Coach Corey and his staff, where he's, you know, he's bigger, he's more filled out, more explosive. You know, Mo, I thought, was the most improved player on the team in spring ball, and it's kind of carried that on. And then you got, you know, a couple older guys, you know, Corey Charles and Tyler Williams, and then Martin Emerson and Jarion Jones and some other guys behind them. So I like the depth, but I also like the talent at the position as well.
You mentioned last year that you only played a few receivers in your rotation. Obviously, you got a little bit more talent at that group now. Do you anticipate going a little bit deeper? And to follow up on that, how has Cam Gardner also done in training camp?
It's funny you say that. Cam's a guy who's really made, you know, a couple nice plays. He had a nice back shoulder fade and 2-minute drill 2 days ago. We were able to kick a field goal, and then you know, had a couple in the scrimmage yesterday, but not as many. But he's a guy that, you know, kind of come in as a tight end, and then we moved him to receiver. But he's a big, strong, fast guy, you know, at the X position, where he's coming along nicely as a compliment to Stephen Goodard.
Would you expect to use a deeper group of receivers this year?
I say yes. I mean, I think you look last year, and you know, probably didn't rotate as much as at the Z as we did at the slot position, you know, and Stephen had a lot of the reps with Jesse Jackson at the X. But we're going to play as many guys as we can to give us an opportunity to be successful. Like I said, increasing the productivity, explosiveness, and efficiency in the pass game, where we have to play to make that happen.
Talking about the X position is walk, back engaged, back in I guess the grind and the fold.
Yeah, he came back and you know, practiced the next day, and you know, obviously hadn't been a week off. We were kind of just watching his reps and making sure, you know, we were easing him back into it. But yeah, I mean, more than anything, I'm just glad for him from a personal standpoint that he took care of the things that we allowed him to go home and tend to. And you know, it's kind of cliche, but you get back around your football family, and it's a brotherhood, and you know, the guys have certainly embraced him and understand some of the things he's going through. So it's good to have him back and around the team, not just from a football perspective, but from a personal perspective.
What are some things that Tommy gives you that you might not have had at the quarterback position last year?
Last year?
I don't want to pick on Nick, but is there anything like passing wise or anything like that you might?
No, I don't think it's different. I think, you know, as a coach or an offensive coordinator, you know, you work to do your best to tailor the scheme around the strengths of your players. And obviously Nick was excellent runner. SEC's all-time leading rusher at that position. So we're going to build it around what the kids do well, and I think, as we've talked about since the end of last season, for us to be able to take the next step offensively, we need to strike a chord of balance in the run and the pass game, and I think Tommy's his arm strength, his ability to read, and his accuracy is going to allow us to kind of take that positive step forward in the pass game.
You touched on redshirts and things like that. How far along are y'all in settling redshirts for freshmen?
We've got the initial list done. We'll review that again on Sunday. But there's I don't want to say a good number, but there are freshmen that we've earmarked and identified that they're going to play this year. So we got a few in the yellow column and some in the red, but there are true freshmen where we're entering the season saying they're going to play. So whether it be offense, defense, or special teams, they're green lights and they're going to be a go.